March 23rd, 2024. Well, got some bad news here from Congress. I mean, the congressional crazies are at it again, and that's my main topic for this video. Of course, we finally are in the ongoing struggle here. The year fiscal year half over basically, and we're only finally now trying to get the budget passed with some kind of a bill. And of course, as always, the Republican Congress has pretty much collapsed as an effective political force at this point. I think obviously that they don't have enough unity to actually put a strong proposition to the Senate side to negotiate effectively. So the Senate managed to negotiate a bunch of earmarks. Some of them are kind of obnoxious to conservatives, obviously, um, and this is led to a situation where now MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene, has decided that she's going to make a motion to vacate the chair. Now, we already lost one speaker in this thing, and at the same time, the total number of members of the House are dwindling also. Then this is topped off by an announcement by Congressman Gallagher that he's going to resign. And for of all uh, purposes, why on the 19th of April? I mean, what's significant about that date? What is significant about it is it's after the second Tuesday in April, and which is the final date for which you can have a special election for Congress in Wisconsin. And I'm not. We'll get into that a little bit later in this, but that is the developments that kind of have me kind of upset. First of all, of course, the thing passed, and right now I guess they're trying to get it through the Senate. We'll see what happens on that side. They'll probably pass it. But and if the government workers get a day off on Monday, oh well, whatever. This is the ongoing process. But apparently, some of the conservatives don't quite realize we don't have any real clout here because we don't have enough of a majority, and the people there are so uncooperative. And it's really the conservatives are just as big a problem as the moderates on this. They can't get to come together with a firm position and stick with it on anything, even the things that they pretty much agree on, because there's some detail they don't agree on. And that's kind of the problem we've got here. And so I'll kind of get into that. And I do thank I have a new, by the way, if you like this videos, please give me a like. It helps out with the algorithm. And we got a new subscriber, which thanks a lot for signing on. Appreciate that. We could use all those we could get. So yeah, that's the situation we're facing here, is a dwindling majority in the House. I mean, Buck is already, I think, resigned effective, I think, is it today? And so he's out. To some degree on that one, I kind of say good riddance. There will be, I think, a special election on that one at some point here, and I don't know if that's the primary or whether that's the actual special election in June. So we've got that coming up. And of course, we have a special election in Ohio, which will the actual vote is in June also. There's a runoff in the Kevin McCarthy seat out in California, the jungle primary. Apparently, we had enough internal competition that now it's down to two people, and so and I think we'll be able to fill that one successfully in May. So that gives you an idea. And I think there's a special election, I think in April somewhere in New York, but I don't know if we have much hope to win that one or not. I need to research that one. Maybe that's the significance of the 19th. It could be, for all I know. That's something we'll have to look at a little bit later. But to me, it's like this is, one of those crazy situations. I really can't see why Gallagher would be leaving. I mean, he was actually an up and comer. I mean, he was head of the committee on the effort to, take TikTok away from the Chinese communists and either make it an American company or shut it down, one of the two. And they got that passed successfully. Okay, so I'm like, why can't he serve out his term? I've actually seen him as a positive individual until this stunt occurred, and I don't know whether somebody just rubbed him the wrong way and he got angry or what's going on here. But to me, it makes him look like a quitter. And if he wants to have any kind of future in politics, to do something else, like, I don't know, maybe run for governor of Wisconsin or something. I mean, this does not really put him in good stead for that. So I'm of course, I have a personal interest in that because he did speak up and put the Admiral Wilson stuff into the hearing, remember, on the UAP thing, the first one he had at the House. So I kind of thought of him as a positive figure on that as well as some other issues. So anyhow, I can say a few things that are going around in certain talk shows which are inaccurate that people are picking up on. For one thing, this will have no real impact on the necessarily anyhow on the confirmation or the what you call it when they count the electoral votes, the next January 6th, I don't know if it's going to be on the 6th or some other date, but event where you count the electoral votes. It won't, because the current Congress will not be the Congress will be in session then. It'll be the one that gets elected this coming November. And so that particular seat, regardless if it's vacant or not for the rest of the year, will be filled by then. And the district is pretty Republican, so we'll probably have a Republican in that district. So that's not going to be the effect. And there's a good chance we'll have a Republican in the 4th district in Colorado that Buck is vacating. So that has more to do with Bobette or how you pronounce her name, and that whole thing out there. I think that it has anything to do with the presidential. And of course, the other thing is McCarthy, in my opinion, I'm a little bit upset that he quit too. In a way, I can kind of see it a little bit more, because after all he'd done for the party, and then they just ditch him like that is really insane. But nevertheless, that's kind of how that plays out. So that's not. But anyway, I'm just saying that is not what's driving this. It may be hostility to some other members of Congress, or are they being bought off by people? I mean, is there something special about the 19th that he's got a really great job, but he has to take it by the 20th, or no deal? Are they buying our people off? I don't think that's true in the case of Buck. I think Buck is just an asshole. Excuse me. But this guy I didn't see in that light at all, and that's why I'm very wondered why he's gone rogue on us here. I mean, I don't know if this is Trump related in some way or whatever. That's another situation. But anyhow, that's one thing that I'm kind of looking at. And by the way, it looks to me like I would encourage everybody there to get on X. He's on X, and look him up. And send him a message and tell him we want him to stay, to change his mind. Don't quit on us here. Or if you do quit, do it before the first Tuesday in April. Let's say by at least April the 5th, and then that way we can have a special election. Either way, I'd prefer him to stay. I don't think there's any reason that he needs to do this, and but that's my point. And of course I'll put I'll have the number here below to call his office. And of course, so that's something that I think is worth doing. And I don't know if it'll have any effect, but I mean, I think it's time to really call these people out. And I hope if Johnson is kicked off the speakership, he doesn't resign over this or quit Congress. I mean, he's not been in that long. He's been there about the same length of time, I believe, that Gallagher was. And I think going into the year, he probably had no expectation of becoming speaker. As I understand it, when they got into that 2 or 3 week logjam when McCarthy was removed, they couldn't find anybody. He kind of volunteered to do it because most other people didn't want it anymore. Because who wants a job like that just to be demonized because you have to do what you have to do, and then everybody doesn't like the outcome and they go, well, you didn't do what we expected you to do. Well, the point is we don't have the power, and there are responsibilities to keep the country going. I mean, there's always trash things in some of these bills. We all know that. And unless there's an overall policy to stop it, it's hard to do. And it's certainly hard to do when you're in the minority here in the Senate and barely have a majority in the House. I mean, and so anyway, I just want to kind of hit that topic. Going on, let's see what else. Well, we do have, of course, a terrorist attack that just happened in Moscow. pretty serious one, something like 60 dead alleged at this point and over 100 injured at a rock concert. Ukraine denies responsibility, and ISIS has declared responsibility, which is kind of interesting. Everybody going, ISIS? Well, thinking about it, ISIS is an insurgent inside of Syria, and just like we have troops in Syria, which, certain people have complained about them being there or have fought ISIS, the Russians also have troops and support for the Syrian army, which also fights ISIS. So I presume that's really what it was. It doesn't strike me as the kind of thing Ukraine would do because, I mean, the kind of people that would go to a rock concert are probably the part of the Russian population that Ukraine wants to be kind of more on their team, I would think. The people are more, let's say, not strong Putin fans, probably. At least that's a guess. I don't know what this particular group is or anything, but I don't know about them. But their name allegedly translates into English as something like panic. Well, I guess they went to a panic concert and it was a real panic. Anyway, I couldn't resist. I thought I shouldn't say anything. But, on the other hand, apparently Russia's been going on a real rampage in the last couple of days with missile attacks in Ukraine, trying to knock out the power generation of their electrical grid, and hit several sites with that, and also probably trying to hit air defense systems. And probably this is somewhat of a response to their ongoing drone attacks on things like their oil refineries and their strategic bomber base at Ingalls. So that conflict is still ongoing, and it may be ramping up. We'll have to catch that one later. I'll probably go into more detail what I think about in a different video. That's not really the topic here. So anyhow, I guess just hang in there and hope for the best. The key thing, I guess, is to keep the Democrats from taking control of the House before the year's over. About all we can do is just block the bad things they would do. I think anything positive is pretty much off the question now because we're just too weak and too disorganized to do anything. So at any rate, at least anything positive. So I'll be posting this on both YouTube and Rumble as always, and the addresses of my social media accounts are in the description below. All for now.